Hello, I'm Will, this is Mike, we're the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And in this video we're looking at issue 29 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer magazine. This issue came with two more paints, Runelord Brass and Barak-Nar Burgundy. And we'll be learning some more rules for terrain, and then in our game we'll be trying to make our way through a shadowy ravine. But as always, we'll have a look through the issue first. So first we have some background on the Realm of Chaos, a sort of alternate hell dimension that is not one of the mortal realms. It exists separately from them, although it is connected. But unlike them, even compared to magical realms, it has no real logic behind it, shaped entirely by the whims of the Chaos gods. And they all have their different parts of it that reflect their own personality. So Khorne's realm is fiery and brutal, for example. Nurgle's realm is a garden of pestilence and decay. Slaanesh's realm is full of delights and sensations. And Tzeentch's realm is just utterly baffling. The realm of chaos can sometimes be reached through tears in reality, and the forces of chaos can also pour out through those into the mortal realms. The realm also reflects the dreams and nightmares of mortals, no matter how weird. It's also a place of constant war as the chaos gods and their followers vie for control and supremacy. Now some background on the Blight War, which was an event after the start of the Age of Sigmar. Nurgle's forces led by his gardener, or Grand Cultivator Horticulus Slimux, whose model you can see there, were trying to open a portal into the realm of Nurgle by spreading disease everywhere they went. And so Sigmar sent an elite force led by the legendary huntress Neve Blacktalon to try and stop him. And the Stormcast lured the Nurgle forces into a trap and then struck. Although it did cost them heavy casualties, they were able to... Neve Blacktalon was able to banish Horticulus Slimux and thus prevent the portal opening. And we have some more background on Ulgu, the Realm of Shadow. Just reinforcing here, it's a very mysterious realm full of deception and trickery. It's very difficult to figure out where you are a lot of the time, and also full of many dangers hiding in the shadows. Another mention of the goddess Morathi, who has had a hand in a lot of the history of Ulgu thus far. It's also a realm that attracts the attention of the forces of Slaanesh, because they believe that it holds the secrets to freeing their imprisoned god. Some tables to roll on now for Champions of Ghur, so if you want any of your heroes or units to hail from the realm of beasts in their backstory, you can roll on these tables for some ideas on their origins, or just pick one that you like the look of. So that table on the previous page was for heroes, and then we've got units and creatures. And then we're on to the painting guide with our two new paints. First of all, the Stormcast Barak-Nar Burgundy is used for mostly weapon hafts and also Guard of Steel Soul's Tabard and Cloak of Hammers, being from a different storm host, so he gets those colours. And then for the Destruction Forces, it's used mostly for things like mushrooms and some leather cowls and pouches and other little details. And then Runelord Brass is used to paint some of the metal areas, some of which we've already painted with silver, but it just breaks up all of the blocks of silver in places and adds another colour to various areas. And there's a gallery of some of the destruction models with those colours applied. But that's it for the contents of the issue. I'll hand you over to Mike now, and we'll be looking at some more rules and getting into our game.
So as usual, we have more of the core rules. This time we're going over terrain. So it's general rules for terrain. So what wholly on terrain and behind terrain mean, or in what cases a unit is to be considered either of those. A unit is wholly on terrain when all of its models are on top of the terrain feature with no overlaps. And the unit is behind terrain if it is more than 3 inches from the attacking unit. All of its models in the target unit are within 1 inch of the terrain feature, and the attacker cannot draw a straight line from the closest point of a model in the attacking unit to the closest point of a model in the target unit without the line passing across the terrain feature. Some factions have their own terrain, in which case they have their own war scrolls that have the extra rules, and then extra things like scenery rules. Some scenery, or most scenery, will have extra rules, which you might get some in a later issue hopefully. And cover, which is just units in cover getting a bonus to their save if they're on or behind a terrain feature, although units with a wounds characteristic of 10 or more or have charged in the same turn do not receive the benefits of cover. So you can see in the examples there are 2 bolt boys shooting at that unit of zombies. One of them has to shoot over the cover of that fallen pillar, where the one from the side can see them clearly, whereas in the example on the right there's a model at the lower end of those steps. So it does not count as being wholly on the terrain feature, so it wouldn't get cover because it's overlapping the ground and the terrain feature. And on the next page it goes over some other types of terrain. So defensible terrain can be garrisoned. Unfortunately we don't get the rules for that later, so I'll talk about it then probably. And then what to do if you have very large or very large pieces of terrain. And also wildwood terrain, which is a special terrain used by the Sylvaneth. And the next few pages are actually setting us up for these tactics pages they're giving us. So you can see here a general overview of the 3 order factions and how they can benefit each other. So you have the Stormcast, which we've seen before, fairly durable, hero-heavy armies that are fairly slow. The Sylvaneth are quite fast in comparison, are good in melee and are pretty mobile. And then the Caradhran Overlords are a fairly durable ranged faction, but even slower even than the Stormcast. And it gives you a little bit of advice on how these factions might interact with each other. And then we also get separate pages on each of the units we've had so far. So first up we have Vindictors. So it gives some general advice. They're a fairly durable unit that can deal consistent damage with their Stormstar arsenal, but they're not very fast, so you might want to use them for holding objectives. Just pick an objective for each Vindictor unit and have them hold it. And then the next page is faction overviews for the Forces of Destruction. So the Cruel Boys are a fairly sneaky army with good ranged units. You need to use your dirty tricks carefully and take out key enemy heroes and monsters to gain an advantage. And you've got the Gloomspite Gits, who are unpredictable but a bit of a laugh and have some decent magic. And then the Iron Jaws are very straightforward, you just run them into enemies and smash them to bits. And the tactics page for the Gut Rippers. So like the Vindictors, they deal mortal wounds on hit rolls of 6. And they're fairly flexible rolls. They're decent all-rounder units for attacking or defending, although they do need hero support to get the most out of them. So you want a killer boss to stop them running away, or a Swamp Shaman to buff up their venom weapons, so you might consider using them as bodyguards for heroes. And the background for today's game, Fog of War. So the fighting in Ulgu has drawn out into a protective stalemate, and the Cruel Boys are attempting to outflank the Stormcast through a shrouded ravine. Unfortunately, there is an elite group of Stormcast warriors guarding that pass, and now both sides are going to try and consolidate their hold over the ravine. So the Forces of Order, we have the Knight Arcanum, the Lord Imperatant, Garda Steel Soul, 4 Praetors and 6 Gryph-hounds. Whereas for the Forces of Destruction, we have the Swampcrawler Shaman and Potgrot, Zarbag and Zarbag's Gits, 3 Manticore Bolt Boys, 10 Hoggrot Slitters, and the Marshcrawler Sloggoth. So doing something a bit different for the battle mats today, we're actually deploying them in a Z shape. So with Destruction Territory in the top left, and Order in the bottom right, and then we have 5 pieces of the Primal Air terrain, so it's all the 5 little ones, and they're not the big skeleton. But we don't get to use Dirty Tricks or Signs of the Storm for this battle. For our victory conditions, the game will last for 5 battle rounds, and then at the end of the game, whoever has the most units wholly within their opponent's territory wins the game. And the special rule is that because this battle is taking place in a ravine, the edges of the battlefield are towering walls of rock, so you can't shoot at enemy units or cast spells at them over the edges of the battlefield. Well, and here you can just about see the entire battlefield, and since I'm on this side of the table, I'm actually in the bottom right, and we have our 5 pieces of terrain sort of along the centre of the battlefield, sort of about. And looking at my deployment, I've got the Hoggrots down at the bottom, closest to the board edge, and then Zarbag's Gits, who are probably going to be my front line in this game, with Zarbag behind, the Sloggoth just above them, and then the Shaman with the Bolt Boys just behind him. He's going to have to be dealing out a load of poisons to them. And the Stormcast deployment.
We're as close as possible as we can get to the destruction territory because they have the advantage of range firepower. So they've got the Praetors closest to the camera with the Knight Arcanum behind them, then Garda Steel Soul and the Lord Imperatant in the middle, and the Gryph-hounds on the flank. The Lord Imperatant will be my general, and the Praetors are going to bodyguard the Knight Arcanum for this game.
Yeah, I think I'll make the Shaman my general as well. Also, we got a recent comment about it being hard to follow what's doing, so from now on I'm going to roll red dice entirely, so you know that that's the destruction, whereas the Stormcast are going to use white, so we're rolling off for the first turn.
Yeah, well, you did roll a 2, I knocked it over, but I still rolled a 6, so I get to choose, and I think I'll go first.
So we're into Stormcast, turn 1. So, heroic actions, I tried heroic leadership with the Shaman, didn't get it, and God of Steel Soul is doing heroic willpower.
Yeah, because we're facing 2 wizards and only got 1 unbind by default, and then we'll try and cast Mystic Shield on a 5, getting it with a 6.
I'll try and unbind. I know with Zarbag, I suppose. Unbind it with a 7.
So just using my priority really to close the distance before we get shot at, and spreading out Praetors a bit. Everybody ran so there's no shooting, and it's the end of my turn.
So, heroic actions, Shaman did heroic leadership again, got it this time.
And I did heroic willpower, I don't really know why I did it in the previous turn, but it would have made no difference anyway. So.
Yeah. And also in the hero phase, going to give a poison to the Bolt Boys, and then see if Zarbag can cast an extra spell. He can't. Spell casting, Shaman's going to try and summon Boggy Mist, using a 6, gets it with a 9.
Try and unbind, I've got 2, nope.
And then Zarma is going to try and cast Jealous Hex, needing a 6, gets hit with a 7.
Try and unblind again. No.
And I'll put that on the Lord Imperator. And then movement, we're just going to wheel back a bit, make the Stormcast come to us. Bit of a risky strategy, I think, to be honest, because we're quite far. We're not a terribly fast army, and we do need to get to the enemy deployment zone, but we're going to use our range advantage for now. And I'll start shooting with the Bolt Boys. They're going to shoot the Praetors.
And I will do all-out defence.
Yeah, so we have 4 shots from the Bolt Boys, hitting on 2s, but 5 pluses do mortal wounds instead. 4 mortal wounds and 2 hits. These wound on 3s, getting 1 wound, -1,
So back to a 3+ save, which I failed anyway, so...
6 damage in total.
Yeah, it kills 2 Praetors.
Then I've just got the 3 archers in Zarbag's kits. They're going to shoot at the Griffhounds, see if they can pick one off, and I'll even use all-out attack on them as well. So 3 shots on 3s, getting 2. No mortal wounds, unfortunately. Wounding on 4s, 1 wound. And that's it. No bravery test for the Praetors because they're bravery 8 and they only lost 2. Rolling off for battle round 2. As it's a tie. I think I said something wrong in the previous game, so the Stormcast went first in the previous turn, so they get to choose.
And I will go first again.
So Stormcast turn 2.
I tried heroic leadership and failed.
And Shaman did heroic leadership and succeeded.
And then spells, we will try and do Mystic Shield again. Range for anything else? I've got it. With a 7.
Try and unbind with Zarbag again. Unbinds it with a 9.
And then we'll also issue Rally to the Praetors. Well, with the Praetor Prime, I suppose, doesn't really matter all that much. So 2 missing, coming back on 6s. No. So moving everybody closer to the destruction forces. Nobody ran this time, though, apart from multiple cannon. So the 2 other heroes can do some shooting. I won't be using all-out attacks. I might just roll them both at the same time. Regardless of Zarbag's kits.
They're both shooting at Zarbag's kits?
Yeah.
Well, when the first one shoots, I'll use all-out defense on them with Zarbag, I suppose.
2 D6 shots each. They're both the same otherwise. 9. Hitting on 3s. 5. And wounding on 3s. Getting 4.
So 6 plus normally, so 6 plus saves. So at least I get 1 because of all-out defense. Ooh, roll for 6. So that's 4 damage. That's going to kill 2 of them. So I'll kill 2 of the bowmen from Zarbag's kits. So we're on to the charge phase. I'm not going to deploy Snurk Sourtongue just yet because I think he'll just get shot by the Lord Imperator if he arrives.
And then charges, the Griffhounds will declare a charge. They roll, a 10, well they're definitely in.
Yeah, they got -1, but even a 9 is still in.
So they complete their charge like that, going into Zarbag's kits.
Yeah, and then the Shaman's going to use his free command point to order the Bolt Boys to unleash hell. So they have to use the aim shot profile, I believe, because they haven't moved. So 4 shots, hitting on 3s, but 5 pluses do mortal wounds instead. 2 mortal wounds and a hit. It wounds on a 3, it does. So that's 4 damage.
So it does take out 2 whole Griffhounds, but Dan won't declare any more charges, so we'll just pick the Griffhounds to fight.
Yeah, and they'll order all-out defense on the Zarbag's kits again.
Yes, as they might as well do all-out attack, reissued by their rounds. So the Griffhounds have 17 attacks, hitting on 3s because the net cancels out all-out attack. 11 hits, winning on 4s. 5.
No rend on Griffhounds, so 5 plus saves. Wow, made 4 of them. So I think Red Cap's the only archer left to take a wound.
Then the Griffhounds make darting attacks and leave.
So they will have to make a battleshock test though.
And then on to the battleship phase where I'll use the Lord Imperator's free command ability to keep the Griffhounds around.
Yeah, so that's his distinguished leader. Lets him issue a command for free once per turn. Yeah, I lost 2 of Zarbag's kits, but I'll help Zarbag issue Inspiring Presence then as well. On to Destruction turn 2. Shaman did heroic leadership and got a command point.
I'll do heroic willpower again with Gardas.
Yeah, and we both gain 1 because our generals are both still alive. Can Zarbag cast an extra spell? No. The Shaman will go first. He's going to try and cast Arcane Bolt. Getting a 5. Gets it with a 7.
Try and unbind with Light Arcanum. No.
Put that on the Griffhounds. So it's D3 damage because we're still using the weird version of it. 2.
Kills 1.
And then Zarbag will go for Jealous Hex again. Gets it with a 9.
Another unbind. Nope.
Put that on the Lord Imperator again. My movements, the Hobgrots ran, gets them all in range of the Praetors, and then the Soggoth moved up as well. And no redeployments from the Stormcast. Also, the Shaman gave his poison out to the Bolt Boys again. Forgot to mention that in the hero phase. And I'll start shooting with the Hobgrot. We're going to shoot at the... We'll go for the Griffhounds. So the Shaman will also use his free command point to issue all-out attack to the Hobgrots, and they can run and shoot because they have the Noisemaker. So they have 10 grenade throws, hitting on 3s now, thanks to all-out attack. And 8 hits, wounding on 3s. Well, that's 7 wounds.
Well, they're all dead then.
And the Bolt Boys will put some shots into those two Praetors.
And we will use all-out defense.
So 4 shots on 2s, 5 pluses deal mortal wounds instead. Oh, no mortal wounds, but they all hit. 3s, that's 3 wounds.
Back to 3s. Oh, failed 2 though, so 4 damage.
Yeah, Praetor Prime's left on a wound, on 2 wounds. Yeah, you know what? Red Cap will take a shot at her as well. On 4, he hit, and then a 4, didn't wound. I think I'm going to play it a little safe. I'm not going to declare any charges, because if I charge the Praetor with a Slogoth, they'll have to fight all the heroes basically, and maybe I can get to the Lord Imperator on his own, but he might kill it, and it'll be out of position. So I'll leave it at that for this battle round. Rolling for priority. I won the roll-off. I will definitely go first. So we're on to Destruction turn 3. So admin stuff. Shaman did heroic leadership, got a command point again.
Gardas is going to do heroic willpower again.
And Poison's going on the Bolt Boys again. Can Zarbag cast an extra spell? No, he's not on it today. Shaman's going to try and cast Arcane Bolt again. It's just about in range of the Praetor Prime. Getting a 5. Gets it with a 5.
Trying to bind. Yay!
Got one at last. And then going to try and cast Jealous Hex on... no, actually we'll go for Mystic Shield with Zarbag. He fails with a 4. So movement, Hobgrots ran again, getting around the Stormcast. Slogoth and Zombies get moved up. Now the Griffhands are gone, I can deploy the Fanatic safely, and the Bolt Boys and the Shaman are going to stay where they are. Start with the shooting phase, we'll go with the Hobgrots, and they are going to throw their grenades at the Praetor Prime. So I'll have the unit champion, Rak, the Hobgrots champion, issue all-out attack to his unit again.
And the Praetors will do all-out defense, although that will be issued by the Lord Imperator for his free one.
Yep, might as well use them up. So 10 attacks on 3s once again. Only 6 hits, wounding on 3s. 5 wounds at -1, but that's cancelled out by all-out defense.
So 3s. Oh, still alive on 1.
We've got Red Cap in the Gits, who misses. Oh well. And then the Bolt Boys are actually going to shoot at the Lord Imperator. So they have 4 shots on 2s, 5 pluses deal mortal wounds. Well, that's 8 mortal wounds.
So he's dead.
Yeah. Well, Bolt Boys seem to be on form. So it's the charge phase. So I'm going to unleash Snurk Sourtongue. So Snurk will pop out there, presumably being spat out by Bonecracker. I'm actually going to start charging with the Slogoth, so it soaks up any unleashed hell from Guard of Steel Soul. 4 gets it into the Praetor, I think. So now Snurk Sourtongue can charge without getting zapped by Gardas, hopefully. 7, that's enough to get him in.
Yeah.
Fanatic goes in like that. And you know what, we'll charge Zarbag's Gits as well. Zarbag's Gits get an 8. Zarbag's Gits get involved as well. Mostly just to get the Netter in range and look at all those heroes, hopefully. But Snurk Sourtongue goes first, because he strikes first, and he'll put his attacks on the Night Arcanum.
And I'll do all-out defense on her then.
So Snurk has D6 attacks for 4. Hitting on 3s because of the Slogoth's bonus. Well, they all hit. He's improved since the last game. Wounding on 3s as well. 3 wounds, -2 rend.
So with all-out defense, that becomes 4s. Oh, made 2.
Yeah, so it's D3 damage. 2.
Go to 4. Oh, but the Praetor Prime is still alive, so we do get attempts to ignore the wounds potentially. So the 2 means that the wound goes on the Praetor Prime, who dies, but the Night Arcanum therefore only takes 1.
And then didn't show it, but Snurk Sourtongue piled in to make space for the other Gits, who are all going to pile in towards the Night Arcanum and attack her. So from the top, we've got 2 attacks from Drizgit's Prodder on 2s, getting 2 hits, and 3s, getting 2 wounds, -1.
So 3s with all-out defense. Oh dear, 2 wounds.
So that's going to be 4 damage so far.
Oh, down to 1 then.
3 attacks from Progdenetta on 2s as well, 2 hits, and 4s to wound, getting 1 wound, no rend.
Lives.
We've got a Slitter from Red Cap on 3s, that gets a hit and a wound.
Still alive.
Didn't roll 1. And then 6 attacks from the 2 Squigs on 3s, they all hit, and wounded on 3s. They all wound. 3s and 6s. -1 rend.
Oh, no 1s or 2s. Oh, no 1s or 2s.
She lives. Just.
So I'll pick Gardas just to pile him in so that the Sloggoth can't get through to the Knight Arcanum, hopefully. Although it does depend how many of the Gits Gardas manages to kill, and I will do all-out attack with him as well, just because I might as well.
Yeah, I think I'll order all-out defense using the free command point from the Shaman.
Okay, 5 attacks, hitting all on 3s because the net cancels out. It made no difference. 4 hits, winning all on 3s. Only 2. -1.
2 6+ saves. Made 1.
Oh, only kill 1.
Red Cat gets squished, and then Goglock will take a wound. Finally, the Sloggoth gets to go. Sloggoth has a 2-inch range with its crew, so they'll attack the Knight Arcanum, see if I can pick her off, and then the Sloggoth itself has to attack Gardas. So 4 attacks on 3s with the crew. We're only getting 1, and they wound.
Oh, 2+ though. Oh, she lives.
And then 4 attacks from the Sloggoth itself on 2s on Gardas, they will hit. And 3s to wound. 3 wounds, that's -1.
4s, he takes 2 damage. 5+ ward though, and he still takes 2. So I've just got the Knight Arcanum left. With the net, she's hitting on 4s and wounding on 4s, so I'll just put all 3 attacks on the Fanatic. So yeah, 4s, well that's why. Need a 4 to wound. Well, we did.
There you go.
So he does kill him because it's -1.
Yeah. So did lose a Git, so I'll just use Inspiring Presence with Zarbag to keep them around.
So on to my hero phase. It's Gardas' finest hour.
And I tried to lower it leadership, Shaman didn't get it this time.
And we'll try and cast Arcane Bolt. We get it with a 7.
Try and bind with Zarbag, I suppose. With a 12, yeah.
Gardas can shoot at the Gits 5 times. So hitting on 3s, get 4, and winning on 2s because it's his finest hour. So 3 wounds, which no save.
Yeah, so it's going to kill. I'll kill off the 2 squigs.
So we're on to the fight phase where I get to pick, and I'm actually going to do the Knight Arcanum first. Doesn't need to pile in. She's going to try and bop the remaining Gits to see if we can get rid of that net. And I will, in fact, even all-out attack with her to cancel that out.
I won't do all-out defense.
So she's hitting on 3s, which did help, and 3s.
4s.
Oh, 4s, but yeah, 2 with -1 and no all-out defense. D3 damage each.
Oof. As long as it's going to pile in like that, so it can put all of its attacks on the Knight Arcanum. Try and finish off. 4 attacks from the crew on 3s, getting 2. 4s, getting 2.
3s, oh she's dead, even with all that defense, so it's a good choice. And then Gardas will pile in, and I'll use all that attack on him to attack Sloggoth.
And I'll use all out defense from my general on the Sloggoth.
So 2s because of all that attack, the net's gone. And then 2s again because it's his finest hour. Yep, 4 wounds.
So it's -1, so 4 pluses. Made 1, takes 6 damage, it's down to 6. But that is going to be it for that battle round. So we're going to roll off for battle round 4. I won the roll off, I will go first. Destruction turn 4. So we also realised probably shouldn't have had an extra command point for the Stormcast in the previous turn because their general is dead. I don't think it would have made any difference. So heroic actions, we both tried heroic leadership. The Shaman got it while Gardas did not.
Even on the 2+ because the general's dead.
Yeah. Sloggoth regenerates 3, it's back up to 9. Zarbag doesn't get an extra spell. Arcane Bolt, looks like it's in range with Zarbag. He gets it with an 11. D3, 3 wounds.
Oh, down to, well, 5+ ward, down to 2.
So in the movement phase, the Grots are going to at the double, so they automatically go 6 and going to make a break for the Order territory. Zarbag ran as well, but he only got a 1. His little legs didn't get him too far. Everyone else is going to stand still. Also, I'm giving the Bolt Boys a poison once again, and they're going to start off the shooting phase by shooting at Gardas.
We'll do all that defense.
So 4 attacks on 2s, 5 pluses do mortal wounds instead. So there's 2 hits and 4 mortal wounds.
Well, I'll just roll the walls for the mortal wounds. No, he's dead.
So Gardas dies in the shooting phase, he doesn't get a chance to revive and fight again, and that's going to be it. I've tabled the Stormcast, and in my next turn the Grots can just auto-run into the Order territory. So that'll be a destruction victory. We'll recap that for you now. So that was the game for issue 29 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer magazine. How did you think that went?
Not as well as it could have done, for a variety of reasons, but I think ultimately I had quite a weird army composition anyway. I suppose you did as well, to be fair, but...
you probably could have swapped Probably Gardas Steel Soul for the Vindictors would have made your army a bit more balanced.
But I think things like, I don't know, if I had one priority in, say, turn 3 and charged you, then I might have been able to do something, whereas instead, even though the Praetors were basically dead by that point, instead the Lord Imperator got filled full of crossbow bolts, and you got to charge me and finish off everything except Gardas. Basically.
Definitely staying back in my deployment zone was taking a big risk. Can only hold for basically 2 turns. Yeah, I was lucky with some priority rolls. And my shooting was really good. I mean, just deleting the Lord Imperator in one go.
Yeah, Unleash Hell killed a couple of Griff Hounds. You destroyed half the Praetors with one shooting with them as well.
I think even the Hobgrots pulled their weight with shooting.
I also struggled with spellcasting. I don't think I actually cast any spells successfully, and I only unbound one of yours.
Yeah, even with heroic willpower.
Yeah, I mean, that was counteracted by Zarbag failing to get his extra spell every time, but
yeah,
so.
I think he failed Jealous Hex. Although I think at the turn he failed to kill Jealous Hex, I shot the Lord Imperator with mortal wounds, so it wouldn't have made any difference.
I suppose at the beginning, especially getting to go first in 2 battle rounds, I don't know about confident, but I knew I had a chance at least, because if I'd been able to sort of pin you back in your own deployment zone, then probably at the very least I would have been able to force it to be a draw.
I think that forced me to hold back.
But then combination of good shooting and mostly just the shooting really.
Yeah, and some power. I got some good arcane bolts off as well.
So really, we just took too much damage on the way in. I suppose there wasn't enough left to deal with it when we got there, and the heroes being behind, although they did do quite a bit of damage, and Gardas was busy hacking that slog off to death. And then Arcanum somehow survived as well, after being nearly pummeled to death by a Fanatic and
the Fanatic did some damage. He's improving.
Yeah, it's still very vulnerable to Unleash Hell, though. You've got to make sure you tie up ranged units. And also the Griffhounds meant that you didn't want to deploy it until towards the end. In theory, perhaps I could have actually wiped out the Gits by that point, but the Griffhounds bounced off. Unfortunately, you made a load of saves.
Slightly wacky layout. It is interesting. I think this is the first time that any of the collections that's actually done this, rather than the standard rectangular battlefield. So it is nice to shake things up a little bit. Yeah,
and a little bit of imagination. You can imagine there being big rocky walls on either side, and actually it's kind of interesting. I actually quite enjoyed the premise of it. It's a bit different.
It still amounted to a big scrum in the middle, but still.
Yeah.
That's the count.
Yes, it did ultimately come down to the side that wiped the other out. But then again, I suppose if the Hobgrots hadn't actually been in the position, then it could actually have stopped you getting anything towards there, even after losing. So.
Yeah, it's a fairly narrow area, and engagement range being 3 inches. That's actually fairly easy to block it all off.
Yeah, perhaps I should have kept the Griffhounds back until later in the game to act as a mobile reserve, but then again, other things would have just taken all the damage instead, so probably not worth it.
Yeah, but otherwise, I don't think there's actually too much more to say. Got some core rules about terrain, but nothing that we've done anything differently. I'd be interested to see if they give us any cut-out wildwood, because we do get some Sylvaneth later. But we've got some new paints, just adding more details and breaking up some silvery bits. Otherwise, I don't think there's too much more to say. If you like this content, do leave a like and subscribe. And if you played this game to us, how you've got on, how you've been getting on with your collections. And again, if you like that we roll different coloured dice, I guess, if it makes it easier to follow, let us know. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.